I'll be doing some edible science, and they love edible science. Hello everyone, and welcome to another week in my classroom. Welcome to our Monday. I'm coming to you at the end of the day, and today was a really good day. Plus, it went really fast. Plus, the kids were very productive. I just loved everything we did. And we started the morning right away with our reading. We went ahead and the kids took the selection test. Then we went over the paired selection and we compared it to the main selection. So we went over the reading skills, which were point of view in literary text, and what we can learn when it's a first person point of view and a third person point of view. And the cool thing was that the paired selection was actually an informational text, which was different from the main selection, which was realistic fiction. And that informational text was a secondhand account. So we were able to compare a secondhand informational article with a first person point of view narrative in realistic fiction, and also go over our comprehension skill of visualizing and context clues. It was a jam-packed morning. And yeah, that was our morning. I'm trying to remember what else we did. I think that's the bulk of it. We tried to start rereading our one and only Ivan novel, which we need to get back on and finish it. And then it was time for computers, then lunch. After lunch, we dove right into science, and we were working with the different states of matter. And this is a clip of the vocabulary video that the kids watched today.
Solid, liquid, gas, plasma, these are the states of matter. Matter has color, odor, conductivity, density, interface with solubility.
They also watched another one on matter and another one on water, all available on vocabulary. And then I went over precipitation, because since we're looking at the states of matter, we're looking at water as it's found in our planet in all three states, liquid, solid, and gas. And we talked about precipitation. So I drew a little diagram on the board showing the kids how precipitation falls into the earth in two different states. So we have liquid, which is rain, and then solid, which is snow or hail. So that was pretty cool. We did that there in science. I also sang the song that I learned from Katie from teaching on tables last summer in Get Your Teach On, which she rearranged the lyrics for Ariana Grande's Thank You Next into a precipitation song. And maybe later this week I'll sing it to you, because the kids loved it so much. And it was my first time trying it, and I wasn't very good at it, so I need some practice. But they loved it so much that they want me to teach it to them. So I'll put the lyrics in a PowerPoint so that they can practice and learn about how the water changes through the water cycle. So, and then in math, after science, we did math, and we were going over multiplying whole numbers into mixed numbers. So there's two ways that we went over. First, to change the mixed number into a fraction, and then go ahead and multiply the whole number into it. Or I told the kids, distribute the whole number. So first multiply the whole number and then multiply the numerator, and then you still get the same answer. And yep, I don't have the agenda. I didn't have time to write it on the board today, but I'll be sure to do that tomorrow. And then after that, they went to PE, and then we had our social studies group time, which I thought that they would be able to finish today. But we were having some technological difficulties with some of the laptops. So they're going to continue tomorrow. We're going to play it by ear. It's going to be fine. And they're having fun with that. All right, so that is basically the gist of what we did today, Monday. And now I'm just going to move us on to Tuesday. Hello and welcome to Tuesday. So it's now the end of the day, so I just want to quickly give you the highlights from today. And I also want to mention something I completely forgot to mention it yesterday. But first thing in the morning yesterday when we came in on Monday, I had the students talk about their feelings about the terrible tragedy of Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and the other people that perished in the helicopter accident this past Sunday. So we talked about it. I had them see the little animated short on the poem that he wrote, Dear Basketball, and we talked about it and discussed it. And I did give them that space to do that. And my heart, my thoughts, my prayers go out to his family and everyone else that was lost in that terrible accident. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because that was something that was important to do first thing tomorrow morning, regardless of whatever plans I had scheduled for that morning. So now for today, Tuesday, I wanted to quickly show you through our agenda because I did remember to write it on the board what we ended up doing today. So I haven't checked it off yet, so let's do it together. So we started by going over some practice problems for Chapter 8, and then the students took the Chapter 8 topic test. So now we're ready to start Chapter 9, which is all about connecting fractions and decimals. Then we had music, lunch, and recess. They were working on their Chapter 4 PowerPoint presentations that they've been doing in groups, and pretty much everyone is done. I think there's one team that needs some extra time because they were having some technology problems with every laptop that they were using. So I will make sure that they have time tomorrow morning to work on that. And they are going to present these possibly on Thursday since we don't really have social studies scheduled for Wednesday. And for reading, they started their Wonders Unit 3 Week 2 assessment. They didn't finish it, so that's the first thing they're going to do tomorrow. We did not do our wintergram, so we're going to move on that for another one. And we did a Properties of Matter lab. So I want to show you what we ended up doing. So I went on Pinterest, and last week when we started talking about the properties of matter, I told the kids that we would have some activities, hands-on activities to go over that, and that probably I'll be doing some edible science, and they love edible science. So I went on Pinterest last week and I started getting some ideas, and I ended up getting the idea to get different kinds of crackers and have the students use their 5 senses, which are connected to the properties of matter, not all of the properties of matter, but some of them, and engage with that. So let me show you what we ended up doing. So before I show you the activity sheet that we were working with, I do want to say that I went to Publix this morning and I bought a variety of different crackers. I actually bought 8 different types of crackers. And then I went ahead and I stuffed a whole bunch of snack-sized bags. I made individual baggies for each student. And I had different crackers. I had Ritz crackers, Cheez-Its, the Townhouse pita crackers, the Triscuits. I had goldfish, but pretzel goldfish. I had vanilla cupcake goldfish, which I had never seen before. I also got the Annie's bunny crackers that are also cheddar cheese, and I got some Teddy Grahams in chocolate flavor. I think that's about all the different crackers that we used for today, and I made sure that every student had their own individual baggie of all of those 8 different crackers so they can go ahead and do their activity. I also passed out rulers because one of the columns that they're going to be completing is the size of the cracker. I told them to measure the widest part of the cracker possible and to use centimeters because in science we use the metric system. So now let me show you my example, my completed example of the activity sheet. Here it is. So basically we have the cracker. So they first drew the cracker and they did it one by one. And I told them to make sure they use the columns in order so that the last thing they did was to eat the cracker and then describe how it tasted. I told them they could go in any order. So for me, I did Ritz, Triscuit, the pita cracker from Townhouse, the Cheez-It, the bunny that was also a cheddar cracker. I did the pretzel goldfish. This is the vanilla goldfish and the chocolate Teddy Graham. And basically, as you can see, they were describing the texture, the shape, the color, the size, and then the taste. It was a really fun activity, and some of the students just need maybe one more cracker or 2 to taste, so I told them to just leave it on top of their desk so that they can do it when they come in the morning. Some of them wanted to do it at home. I said, you can do it at home as long as you bring the sheet back. And then, of course, they wanted extras, so I did keep the extras that were left over, and maybe tomorrow, by the end of the day, we can have a little snack break where they can choose their favorite cracker out of the 8, and they can get a little bit of those crackers so that they can continue to enjoy them. So that was our day for today, Tuesday. And yeah, tomorrow, hopefully after they're done with their Wonders assessment, we can start on our Wonders unit on Abraham Lincoln and how words can lead to change. That's the essential question. And also start chapter 9 in our math so that we can get caught up because I need to be in chapter 10. So we're not that far. Chapter 9 is not too long, and hopefully it'll go by quickly. Trying to play catch up here. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Let's go on to Wednesday. Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday. So it's the end of the day and let's take a look at what we ended up doing today. So we're gonna go over to the agenda on the board and show you what is on the board also that we did during math. All right, starting off, we were working on finishing our Unit 3 Week 2 assessment. That actually took longer than I expected, which ate up our time over here towards the bottom. So we have to do this first things first tomorrow in reading, but we did introduce a new unit. We did the opener video, which was amazing. This unit deals with powerful words and how words can lead to change. So in the opener video, we were looking at Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela and how their words led to change. Then we did the read aloud about Thomas Gallaudet and how he brought American Sign Language along with Laurent Clark into America by building the first school for the deaf in the 1800s or the 1700s and how that school is still on today. Then we did the vocabulary and we introduced half of the shared read by looking at the text features. And yeah, that's what we did during reading and it was pretty good. So then we had Spanish lunch and math. We introduced chapter 9, which explains, and this arrow is not really related to that. It's just this means we're moving it over. We introduced decimal place value, and I was trying to show the students how the decimals work. If we had a whole that was broken up into 10 parts, that would be 9/10. But we could also break it up into hundreds. So 9/10 is equal to 90 hundredths, and how much 100th would be, which was one little block, and how 1,000th would be zooming this block out and dividing it into 10 equal parts. So that is representing the 7 because this is 7,000ths. And then this is 100th, and then this is 9/10 or 9/10 in this way. So that's pretty much what we did during math. And then we ended the day with science. We did our properties of matter guided quiz online on the projector board, and the students will come up here and select the right answer. And we did the properties of water and water cycle, which are doodle notes, which I'll show you right now. These are the doodle notes. Again, these come from Melanie Ellsworth, Science and Math Doodles. And this is the same TPT store that I got my doodle notes for last week. So we were looking at the properties of water and how when we add heat or take away heat, what happens to water and how it changes through the phases and how it changes here. And the thermometer, what is the freezing point and the boiling point. And then on the back, we went ahead and started working with the water cycle because all of that is connected. So we actually ended our notes up to here. And then we need to do this section. And then we are going to do the song that I learned from Katie, Teaching on Tables, that I mentioned on Monday. I'm going to be teaching it to the students tomorrow. But tomorrow I'm planning on doing another edible lab. And I'm trying to figure out what to do, what will be the easiest thing to do. And I'm leaning towards one idea more than the other. We'll see what ends up happening tomorrow. So I may just do science at the beginning of the day, just because the things that I will need for that activity need to be cold, and I'm not going to have a place to put them. And science is usually at the end of the day or after lunch. So I may just do science first thing in the morning and then move math down to the afternoon. So we'll play it by ear, but that's pretty much where we are right now with that. But let me show you the PowerPoint that comes with these notes. So here's the PowerPoint, very similar to what I showed you last week with the other notes that we took on the properties of matter and the states of matter. So it looks just like the one that the students had. And then as you keep pressing next, all of the notes pop up so that the students can write it. Now I know that sometimes it looks kind of small. So what I do is I hold Control and the plus sign and it zooms it in, and I can just move the page a little bit so the students can go ahead and write those notes as they see them clearer. And then I just hit escape and it goes back to normal, and I can keep clicking next so that they know what notes to add. So those are for the properties of water. Let me show you about the water cycle. And here is the water cycle. This is where we left off. So we took all of these notes with all of these words. So condensation leads to precipitation, which leads to runoff, which flows into the ocean. And in the ocean, the sun heats the ocean and then it evaporates. But also we have the trees with transpiration that add back to the water vapor in the atmosphere, which continues the water cycle. So we define the water cycle here. And then next we're going to be defining each of these steps in the water cycle. So precipitation and the different kinds of precipitation, condensation, transpiration, evaporation, and of course, runoff. So I really love these notes. I'll link them down below. She is amazing. So that's basically the gist of what we ended up doing today. After school, we did have an iReady training, which we used as sort of like our grade level meeting as well. And then we went back into the classroom and here we are. So that's basically the end of my day. Tomorrow is Thursday. I can't believe how quickly this week is going by. At least for me, it feels like it's going by quickly. I woke up this morning, I'm like, wow, we're already on Wednesday. This week, even though it's a 5-day school week, is going by really quickly. So tomorrow the students are also presenting their chapter PowerPoints, which I'm really looking forward to seeing their presentations. And then of course they'll take their chapter test probably on Friday. Okay, so that's all I have for you for today, Wednesday. Let's now move on to Thursday. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday. So before I let the kids in, I need to let you know what my plans are for this morning. So I kind of mentioned yesterday that I wanted to do a science activity with the kids today, and I wasn't sure which one I was going to pick, and we were going to do it first thing in the morning because the things will melt if we wait later on in the day, and I have no way of keeping them cold during the day. So since we're learning about the states of matter, I wanted to do an activity where I had each individual student make their own ice cream, but I feel like it was going to be a lot to do and maybe it would have been a little messy at one point or another. So I decided to actually do some Coca-Cola floats. So the kids are gonna get a plastic cup, clear plastic cup, where they're gonna pour in the liquid, which is a mixture of liquid and gas, and then they're going to take a spoon and a little cup of vanilla ice cream and scoop some vanilla ice cream into their cup. The vanilla ice cream, of course, represents a solid. And of course, they'll see how the solid will eventually turn into a liquid because of the temperature and all that jazz. But I think that'll be a really fun way for them to experience that. But I'm also going to do the ice cream in a bag, but just me as a demonstration for the entire class. And then they can use a spoon to taste the ice cream that I'm going to make. So I'm going to show you the bags of ingredients and all the things that we're going to use this morning. And hopefully I can show you some clips of the students engaging in the activity later on this morning. So these are my 3 supermarket bags. I have some gallon-size freezer bags and a quart size. I have some kosher salt and some sugar as well. I also have the clear plastic cups here and spoons and measuring cups because I didn't have in my classroom. And here are the vanilla cups. So they're just vanilla ice cream. And I have the half and half for the ice cream in a bag. And here I have the bag of ice that I'm going to use for the science experiment or the ice cream in a bag activity and the Coke bottles. So that is what we're going to be doing this morning. Now, I know usually you make a float with root beer, but I wasn't sure if the kids would like root beer and they tend to like Coke in general. So that's why I opted for that. All right, so it's time to let the kids in and get our day started. So I will speak to you later. It's now the end of the day, and from what you saw in the last clips, the kids had a lot of fun. One, helping me shake the bag in order to make ice cream in a bag, and then of course I let them have the ice cream vanilla cups and the Coke in order for them to make a Coke float and be able to observe the 3 states of matter in one cup. It was a great activity, and then we cleaned up. They went to art, and then after art and lunch, we had math, and we continued going over equivalent fractions, and of course, after that, we had computers. We came back to the classroom, we continued reading Words for Change, And we finished with some of the teams presenting their social studies PowerPoint presentations. I have 3 more teams I need to present tomorrow. So after school, the custodians came to my room and delivered our new classroom rug. So I've already cleared all the bookshelves that were here in the corner. I feel like I'm setting up my classroom again. So here it is, all empty, our classroom corner where our library goes, and all of the books are just scattered over the desk. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open this package, unroll the rug on the space over here. I just finished sweeping it, and then put all the bookshelves and the decorations back to reassemble our classroom library area. All right, lots of work to do. Let me get it done, and I will show you the results once I finish setting everything up. All right, 2 hours later, and I am done setting up the new rug in our classroom. Boy, that took some time. But check it out. I really love the new navy blue color. And yeah, the library is ready to go for the kiddos tomorrow. Let me just back up so you can see completely how it all looks. Nice. I am one tired teacher, so I'm going to leave you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello everyone, and welcome to Friday. So we're coming to you at the end of the day, and I just wanted to let you know how our day went. So basically, I will first show you through our agenda because I checked off half of it, but I still want to check off the other things even though it's the end of the day, and I have to put a new agenda up for next week. I also changed my calendar for next week because tomorrow we start a new month. We're already in February, and on Sunday is Groundhog Day. So I don't know if the groundhog will see its shadow or not, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so let me show you what we ended up doing today. So in math, we went over relating fractions, decimals, and money. And then the students took their mid-chapter checkpoint. And then they went to PE, lunch for social studies. The rest of the teams that didn't present yesterday presented. And the students took their chapter 4 test for social studies. For reading, we actually didn't do the genre review today. We're going to do it on Monday. And we did read Abe's Honest Words. We had a really good discussion with this. They did the selection test, and we didn't do the paired selection, so we'll do that on Monday as well. And for writing, all this needs to go on because we had a really good discussion about the Civil War, so our reading time turned into social studies time, and there was even a point where I did pull out our social studies book and we read a portion of that time in history. All in all, we really had some really great discussions, and then the students did their selection test. And we went over something that's not on the board, but we went over allusions, and the students really love Greek mythology. So in 4th grade, they need to know allusions as they make reference to Greek mythology. So we talked about the Midas touch, Pegasus, Medusa, Achilles' heel, the Trojan horse, Odysseus. I also pulled up a passage from our iReady Teacher Toolbox that went over some examples of those kind of allusions. So I did leave for them a little quiz for them to do on Monday because on Monday I have a meeting at the high school early in the morning. So I'll be coming a little late on Monday to school. So I left a little thing for them to do on Monday in the morning, and here it is. I decided not to leave my full-fledged subplan, so I just typed up this memo or letter or note for whoever comes in to watch my class, but I basically will be back between 9:30 to 10. So that's our English and language arts time. So I'm leaving this How Do I Learn survey that I've been meaning for them to complete just to get some updated data. And then I am leaving our genre review that I mentioned on the board, along with the suffixes, the Greek and Latin suffixes that we're going over in class. And here's the Greek mythology allusions quiz. It's just a simple quiz with 10 little questions for them to complete. And then for the students that are done with all this, I have an I'm done, now what choice board. And this is by Kim Miller. I'll be sure to link this resource down below in case you're interested. She has 4 different choice boards with different kinds of information or activities for the students to complete. So they have a lot of activities to choose from. And then I decided to leave this reward meter for the teacher who's going to cover my class to complete. And let's see how the students do when I return on Monday. Monday is also our 100th day of school, and I'm planning on possibly doing a few activities that are STEM related on Monday for us to celebrate our 100th day. So if I decide on what I'm gonna do, I'll be sure to let you know. And yeah, I can't believe already we're starting February tomorrow. Monday is our 100th day of school. It was supposed to be today, but because we did miss that one day in September for Hurricane Day, this year, instead of having 180 school days, we're gonna have 179 school days, and Monday is our 100th day. Now, it's cute because our first grade teachers actually decided to celebrate their 100th day today, and it was a lot of fun seeing all the first grade teachers dressed up as old ladies, and the little kids in first grade also dressed up as 100-year-olds. They were adorable. All right, so that in a gist is what we ended up doing today, and that has been our week. I hope you enjoyed coming along with us and taking a glimpse into what we've been doing this week in our classroom and enjoying all the fun edible science activities that we did this week. We sure did have a lot of fun. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought or any questions you may have. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile. Hello dreamers, wishers, and magical thinkers. Thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video and for showing your support. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so by clicking on my picture down here. You can also check out my latest videos here and here. Don't forget to believe in the magic that's inside you because you are capable of great things. See you next time.